recently we worked on this song.
Roll up on a screen, binaries, find cracks beneath the stream.
The production was inspired by the sound of KDA, but with some twists, of course.
When planning Twisting Fate, we knew we wanted to create a hard-hitting track reminiscent of the baddest, pop stars and more. However, we wanted to spin it in a slightly darker direction, which is something KDA have done with Villain. I'm alone, only know myself no more. Take it to the grave, I'll go. But has also been part of other Riot music, such as the Arcane OST. Who told you it was out here? Additionally, we took an imaginative approach, trying to find the sound that would fit KDA within the current musical landscape, since their first release goes back 7 years now.
As KDA likes to keep things hype, we picked a BPM of 169. This allowed us to play around with energy a lot, as we could have more laid-back halftime sections or more intense full-time parts. This specific BPM also lent itself to a particular twist we did in the B-chorus, but let's start from the beginning.
Twisting Fate's intro features a bass line and a synth melody, which is slowly filtered in. Those are the core sounds of the first verse, which comes in right after.
Verse 1 has 2 parts and it is in half time. We wanted the section to hit, but also to develop smoothly, so we slowly introduced elements one by one. We opted for a metallic sounding snare, which is another classic for a KDA song. We established a clear question-answer pattern from the get-go, and we further enhanced it with a lead halfway through.
The pre-chorus introduces contrast, pretty typical for KDA. We wanted a great sense of space here, so we dropped out the bass temporarily and added spacious pads and a synth plug. We then pick up the energy with piano chords, held bass notes and a drum build-up.
Things get really interesting in the chorus. For chorus A, we went for an anti-drop, bringing back the halftime feel of the verse. We are also bringing back our core melody from the intro. We developed the section further halfway through by adding a few more elements, specifically synth with a vocal texture, which is yet another KDA classic.
In between the A chorus and the B chorus, we have a rather complex fill. First, we slow down the synth from the instrumental. We pitch down percussion at the same time. Simultaneously, we have a riser lifting up the energy. We then use the same percussion we pitched down before to create the sense of speeding up. And we further enhance this effect with distortion, panning and a flanger.
Before we lift up the energy with the B chorus, we want to tell you that you can lift up your production and top-line skills with our coaching program. You can book a free call via the link in the description so we can see if you're a good fit.
The B chorus, as is typical for anti-drop songs, goes full out. We're in full time, and remember when we said our BPM was particularly handy here? We utilize a drum and bass pattern for our percussion, while the Super Soul synths create a wall of sound. This section is much more melodic compared to the A chorus before, serving as the big release after the slow build-up we've had so far. We have some short fills within the section to break up the flow temporarily, and at the end of the chorus we have a classic KDA-inspired bass fill.
You may have noticed our B chorus is quite stacked. This can lead to challenges when mixing and blending in vocals, but for this specific track we actually used a special trick.
We used the plugin called Smooth Operator on our instrument bus in order to carve some space for the vocals. First, we sidechained our instrumental bus to the vocals. Then, we used the isolation feature to make it a bit more precise and lowered the amount. The synths now duck down in volume when the vocals are playing.
Do you think you're gonna get away? We're twisting fate. 'Cause we're actors and I'm playing the world's our stage now.
Because Smooth Operator is a dynamic resonance suppressor, it will only turn down the frequencies that overlap between the vocals and the synths, thus preserving as much character in our instruments as possible, while still adding clarity to the mix.
Of course, there are other ways to achieve similar results, but Smooth Operator makes this process really easy and quick. While we didn't get sponsored directly by Baby Audio for this video, they kindly gifted us licenses. But that's not all. If you join our free Discord community via the link in the description, you can win a license for Smooth Operator yourself by participating in our next upcoming challenge. Make sure to join our community to stay up to date, and once again, huge thanks to Baby Audio.
Chorus B is followed by a highly contrasting verse 2, which sets up for a rap section. We have a walking bass line with a 4-on-the-floor kick pattern and drums coming in the second half. We combine this with a bit crushed percussion loop, which is panned around. This section takes the energy down after the explosive B chorus, but still keeps things intense.
We then go back to the pre-chorus and then drop straight into the B chorus for a surprising switch up. We utilize a reverse effects here, but we will elaborate on that later.
The B chorus is then followed by a different variation of the A chorus from before, which serves as the outro. A bit strange, you might think. So let's explore the song structure of Twisting Fate.
We have spoken numerous times about the typical pop song structure on this channel, and for most of the song we kept it pretty similar. We have a 4-bar intro, an 8-bar verse 1, followed by an 8-bar pre-chorus, a 2-part chorus, and a long second verse. This, as we discussed, takes us on quite the journey, but it also meant we had to be mindful of song length. But we would never advocate for intentionally removing song sections for the sake of shortening a track. It is good to be aware of what the current trends are and how much we would like to follow them.
So to balance the lengthy chorus and second verse, we decided to halve the second pre-chorus. This is actually something KDA have done too.
So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보던 좋아할 거야. We're so tough. Let's get it, show you up. Can you feel the rush now?
This keeps things interesting while still adding enough familiarity.
We mentioned we go straight into the B chorus a second time around, and you might be wondering why. See, an anti-drop is a fantastic way to introduce surprise and build tension. However, there are only so many times you can offer the same surprise without it, well, not being really surprising anymore. As our A chorus is rather slow and takes its time to build up, we knew repeating it the second time around may get a bit too much, so we switched things up. Our new chorus consisted of the previous B chorus, while the A chorus instrumentation was rearranged as an outro. This time, instead of building anticipation as we did with our anti-drop, we slowly lowered the energy.
And KDA are also no strangers to changing the typical pop song structure, as this is what they do in the baddest.
Now, this is all pretty cool, but wouldn't such a strange song structure make it difficult to top line?
Regardless of what instrumental one is working on, if a top line is part of the end goal, a producer should always be open to changes.
Our verse 2 changed slightly once we finalized the top line. It initially sounded like this. However, the slowdown in the middle worked fantastically with the rap and made the second half of the verse come in even more intensely than before.
We also used some of the final vocals as effects to really tie everything together. Remember the reverse effect we mentioned before the second chorus? This was actually created by adding reverb on our vocals, bouncing that to audio, and reversing them.
At the end of the second chorus, we initially had this. Once we had the vocals, we thought the short and snappy fade, which the chorus top line ends on, would be a great addition to the fill, so we processed it in the exact same way and ended up with this.
We also added a vocoder layer to support the harmonies and further enhance the group singing feel. Once again, a trick KDA and no strangers to either. And if you want to learn more about the process behind twisting fade, join our Discord for our monthly masterclasses.
Finally, we want to give a huge shout out to the whole team involved in this project. Please go and check out their work as well, and we hope you enjoy Twisting Fate. All the links are down below.